raped by her former principal at a school in Kimberley, says the education department and the police have failed them. She accused the department of failing to act against the former principal despite evidence of sexual misconduct. The mother says that the principal has since been employed at another school as a teacher. The alleged rapes allegedly occurred between 2015 and 2018 within the school premises. The mother, who is seeking justice, says her daughter was only 14 years old when she was raped by her former principal and that she's not the only victim.
I will not leave this matter, Meneer, because our children are suffering. My child is suffering, and I'm heartbroken over what happened to my poor daughter. My child is one of the victims. When we did our own research, there was more than 15 girls that were sexually assaulted.
On the international front, the Namibian Justice Minister has told the International Court of Justice in The Hague that the attacks on Palestinians in Gaza evoke the painful memories of genocide conducted by Germany to the Namibians. Yvonne Dausab is representing Namibia at the ICJ's public hearings on the legality of the occupation of Palestinian territories by Israel. She says residents have been violently removed and displaced from their homes. Namibia and other countries, including South Africa, want the World Court to declare Israel's occupation as illegal. Dausab elaborates further.
Today, Palestinians have had to endure the seizure of their land and property, illegal settlements, unlawful killings, forced displacement, drastic movement restrictions, the denial of refugees' right to return, and of equal nationality and citizenship. The lived reality of the people of Palestine evokes painful memories for many Namibians of my generation.
And the late Namibian president, Hage Geingob, has been hailed as the person who advocated for global peace. The University of South Africa, UNISA, held a memorial service for Geingob in Pretoria. The Egyptian ambassador to South Africa, Ahmed El Fadli, says Geingob publicly defended the people of Palestine who are under attack from the Israeli government. Geingob will be buried on Sunday in Windhoek. El Fadli says Geingob was a fearless leader.
In North Africa and beyond, we will also remember the strength and drive by which President Geingob defended the Palestinian cause and struggle as a truly global citizen, saying just 1 month ago, no peace-loving human being can ignore the carnage waged against Palestinians in Gaza.
Recapping the top story this hour, the parents of the children who died at the Enyobeni Tavern have expressed disappointment on the sentence handed down to the tavern owners by the East London Regional Court. Up next is The Full Circle for SAFM News. Kemudupi Makhalemele.
Here, there, and everywhere. SAFM 105 FM in Mokopane.
The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
Siyathandana bazamile usohlukanisa uhluleka abaphansi bavumile ukuba sifanelene thina sobabini masikunye iyajabula jabula sonwabile siyathandana Bazamile usohlukanisa uhluleka abaphansi bavumile ukuba sifanelene thina sobabini masikunye ndiyajabula jabula yabona mahlangene impilo ibamnandi uzaduze kuyisithando sami sandikhuze uyabona mahlangene impilo ibamnandi uzaduze kuyisithando sami sandikhuze masibe happy masibe happy sibe kunye masibe happy masibe happy sibe kunye masibe happy masibe happy sibe kunye masibe happy masibe happy
It is the sounds of Kabza de Small coming through, featuring Amifaku on this one with Asibe Happy. That is how we kick off your Friday afternoon today, bringing you a little bit of that dance amapiano sounds. It is, the sound of this particular generation and the sounds of this era. Born and raised in Mpumalanga is where he had his beginnings, and of course his musical career started back in 2009. He's since been revered as the king of amapiano, being the man behind so many of the genre's greatest productions, and of course collaborating with a long-time friend and production collaborator DJ Maporisa. He was ranked 18, by the way, on the Forbes Africa 30 Under 30. A beautiful list to be recognized at. That's Kabza de Small featuring Amfako on this one with Asibe Happy, bringing us to 1:15 on the Full Circle with myself, Bridget Masinga. It's a beautiful Friday. It's a great Friday, in our corner of the world. Hopefully, yours as well is looking just as pretty as we gear in for the weekend. We've got lots coming up by way of a conversation today. We're going to be catching up with Linda Skekane, who is a revered young South African jazz musician. In fact, a Standard Bank Young Artist for Jazz back in 2022. He's just clinched a deal with international music group Universal Music Group Africa. We'll touch base with him. And then we're talking around this new documentary that chronicles the life and contributions of the great apartheid photojournalist Sam Nzima. It's called A Journey Through His Lens, and we'll catch up with the director and producer of that particular one. On the other side of two, we're looking at social media trends and unpacking this with the guys at Ogilvy, who've just released the latest insights from the 2024 Trends Report, and coming through for full access today, a lady who's not celebrated as much as she should be for her contribution in the music industry. Aus Tebza is going to be joining us in studio. 061-410-4107 is our WhatsApp line, and 086-000-2032 is the number you can reach us on. Let's take a quick pause and we come back and we catch up with Linda Skekan.
You are listening to The Full Circle.
Joining me now is Linda Skekane, who is a jazz musician, an award-winning jazz musician, by the way. Linda Skekane is the 2022 Standard Bank Young Artist for Jazz recipient. His talents know no bounds, seeing him exporting his musical prowess to countries all over the world, having also collaborated with so many recognized jazz greats as well as icons. And he joins me now for a quick catch up. How are you doing, Linda? You good?
I'm well, in yourself.
I am fantastic, thank you. I mean, let's start at the beginning before we even get to this latest incredible news. It's been a while since you debuted with Two Sides, One Mirror. In fact, 2017 was the debut of that particular album. And your journey has taken you to such interesting places through the years.
Yes. No, it's been a very exciting journey, filled with so many lessons. I'm really grateful.
Yeah. And I mean, in terms of just, reflecting back on the last few years, for you as a musician, as a person, as a creator, in terms of growth and stretching oneself, how would you gauge that?
I would say it's been a very fruitful journey, and I think it's important to mention that one forms part of a greater community, and with that, the journey has been so fulfilling just to get support around, as you know that and we've been getting this guidance from the one that have been walking the journey before us. So for me, it has just been a journey of learning and trying out things, and a journey of finding myself through my people and through the people that support the music.
Mm-hmm. And when you talk about jazz being sort of a communal way of conversation and having to touch base with those who've traveled the journey before you. I know that through the years you've collaborated, and even before you released anything officially, even before Two Sides and One Mirror, you've had the privilege of being mentored and been collaborating with some greats, the likes of Dr. Nduduzo Makhathini, for instance, Abo Mamsbongile Khumalo, Abo Thandiswa Mazwai, and so the list goes on. And for me, this also speaks to sort of your repertoire as an artist and your ability to cross various generations and various eras of music, because these are all very distinct and very different musicians and mentors.
Yes. No, the journey in itself is a serious study. And just looking at our, archives in the country and, speaking about all these great creatives that have been, doing this for the longest time, one has been very blessed, just to be under their wings, because through that one has been able to tap into many generations or many portals that were produced by different generations. So just being part of this lineage is a blessing in itself.
What would you say was the best era or the best generation, particularly for the jazz art form, whether we're looking at it from a South African context or even a global context?
Well, this is a tricky question, but I'll just speak for my very own generation. When I moved to Joburg in 2013, there was an influx of really young musicians, and at that time, people were figuring out this idea of releasing independently. And I was also fortunate to be a part of that, group that came into Joburg, and of course the likes of Dr. Nduduzo Makhathini at that time were really seasoned musicians playing with the likes of Babu Happy Tswaeli, Babu Feafaku, and they really opened the doors for us, and they assisted us in sort of like setting up our careers. So this whole movement, there were a lot of people coming from different parts of South Africa, Cape Town, the likes of Thandi Nduli, Benjamin Chester, in Durban is Thembi Sopengu, Senzo Mzimela, just to name a few. So I think for me that was such a special era.
Yeah. I mean, listen, even me who's not a musician, but just from what you say, I'm like, I would have loved to be a fly on the wall for some of those sessions and some of those teachings. Would you say that there's still an appreciation for jazz and there's still a place for it in music, considering how much music has evolved? I mean, we opened the show today with Kabza De Small. Who would have known that we'd be living in the era of Amapiano's domination?
Yes. Well, I think that there will always be a place for jazz because, all these other genres, somehow they enunciate from the very art form of jazz. Speaking of Amapiano, just the whole concept of the piano dominating a dance song really stems from jazz. You can hear how bluesy the sound is, and just this whole idea of improvisation, which is very fundamental in jazz. So I think with all that is happening, jazz will always be the foundation for everything.
Absolutely. Let's get to this incredible new journey. You've just joined the Universal Music Group Africa. And that's quite a big signing, because I don't know, for me, I feel like that means an even broader reach and cementing of yourself globally.
Yes. This is such a great opportunity. We spoke about the importance of a community and being part of such a community, and just a stable that really knows the industry, the ins and outs of the industry. I think this is an opportunity for my brand and just my music to reach many hearts.
And in terms of the projects and the evolution of the sound and what that might look like, given everything we know about appreciators and musical taste these days, and where people might be at when sort of enjoying different musical art forms?
Well, I guess evolution is something that we cannot run away from, and as artists as well, we are constantly paying attention. We have we are paying attention to the world, and what's happening. And I think through that alone, the music has a way of finding its own evolution. But of course, everything is a process.
Would you say, we've seen so many also musicians sort of go it alone these days, people going indie, starting up their own thing and being in control of their own destinies. But here you are, cementing yourself to a big player globally, internationally in the music space. You'd say there's still room for some of those traditional structures in music and the way that the music business has kind of fundamentally been over the years. There's still place for it to tap into some of those resources and skill.
Yes, there is. And speaking about indies, there's quite a lot of them. Of course, recently I was signed to an indie record label, and before that I released my first 2 albums independently. And I guess it really depends on what the artist is looking for, in that particular period. And I seem to be looking for this kind of journey right now, and it's just a way of exploring other avenues. But there's opportunity for everything.
Absolutely. And I guess, as we said earlier, the expanding of the Linda Sikhakane sort of imprint, not only on this continent, but globally as well. And we've seen just what's happened to South African jazz musicians. If we were to look at, Dr. Nduduzo Makhathini and what he's managed to do in the last 2-3 years for himself and for the genre.
Yes.
All right. Talk to us. Do we have a new project that is coming up sometime soon? Are we in the studio? Are we done? Where are we at?
Yes, we have a project coming up soon. So very soon. People should just keep their ears on the ground. I've been working on a project titled Iladi, which was realized when I was awarded the Standard Bank Young Artist Award in 2022, and the first premiere of Iladi was at the National Arts Festival. And around that same period, I was able to go in studio and record Iladi. So that's what I have coming up soon under Universal Music. So which is really exciting. I think it's a really close project. It's very close to my heart, and just the underlying narrative of it, Iladi. This is a time for me to just pay gratitude to what the journey to how the journey has been unfolding.
And as we get ready to wrap it and reflect back on one of your earlier pieces of work, but just talking about Iladi, because a lot of your work is concerned around the themes of spirituality and sort of the psychological connection to the spiritual, to the tangible land that we live on. So I'm not surprised that this latest project is called Iladi. We're going to play out with the Inner Freedom Revisited. And you revisited this a few years ago, in fact, with Dr. Makhathini. And it's an incredible song. Does it still hold the same resonance for you today as it did back then?
Yes. Well, the sounds are just something else, because one can never get used to a particular sound and how it plays a certain role in that particular time with time. Well, it's been a while for me since I've listened to the song, but I think it would still do something to my spirit.
There we go. Well, listen, we are going to say thank you for the catch-up today, and congratulations on this new chapter under Universal Music Group Africa. And maybe as we fade off, you get to listen to a minute or so and just revisit some of those emotions as evoked by Inner Freedom Revisited. That was jazz composer and saxophonist as well as arranger Linda Sikhakane joining us today.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
A very good afternoon with the news headlines. The DA has threatened to launch a contempt of court application to force the ANC to hand over more documents from its cadre deployment committee meetings. The parents of the children who died at the Enyobeni Tavern have expressed disappointment on the sentence handed down to the tavern owners by the East London Magistrates Court. And foreign nationals' hawkers' stalls have been set alight and looted by unhappy community members in Leboa Khomu in Limpopo. Details of these and other stories at the top of the hour.
Stages, pages, screens, and more with Bridget Masinga.
All right, the time does gallop on a Friday afternoon. It is indeed stages, pages, screens, and more. And we're going to be in conversation now with the director and producer of this new docuseries chronicling the life of the great photojournalist Sam Nzima, a journey through his lens. But first, maybe let's have a little sneak peek of what the docu entails.
In 1976, South Africa moved once again into the eye of the storm.
On Tuesday of June 1976, Percy Koboza called us as a news editor. Then he said, Sam, you are going to cover a march of the students.
It is the beginning of what we have always warned the nationalist, racist government about.
As the situation worsened, more police had to be drafted in.
I mean, the audacity of coming to our premises.
It wasn't just another high school protest. It was going to change the history of our country.
The police gave them 5 minutes to disperse. They didn't move.
I saw my friend dying in front of me. Anything that was government was burned.
There's photographers who died for one image. One image. Photography is art. It's not a point and shoot.
We were resolved on telling the truth.
People are saying that this is a picture that liberated us.
The spotlight was on South Africa as a direct result of that photo.
That picture changed the history of South Africa.
It marks a turning point in the liberation struggle of our country.
I developed a photographing to be a street photographer.
I remember him as this person who was so engrossed with taking pictures.
From there, I was very much taken that now I can be a journalist.
Little did I know that he would even join the journalism side.
After that, I regretted why I have to take this picture. This picture of Hector Peterson is the one that destroyed my future in journalism.
That picture was the story in itself. It was complete.
I did not know that this picture can become a liberation instrument in our country, South Africa.
And as you hear it, a clip from the new documentary Sam Nzima, A Journey Through His Lens, as directed and produced by Nhlanhla Mthethwa, who joins us now. Full Circle Productions proudly presents Sam Nzima, A Journey Through His Lens. And this is an enthralling documentary that's delving into the life and the legacy of one of the greatest photojournalists of our country, Sam Nzima. How are you doing this afternoon, Nhlanhla?
Hi, Bridget. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for taking the call today. I mean, what a great story to be told and long overdue for the legacy of Bab Sam Nzima to really just be laid out for South Africans to take in all of its glory.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time in the making. You know, as you know, that he passed away in 2018. But I started making this docu when was it? 2013. And one of the reasons is that, I mean, in recent time, unfortunately, one of the iconic photographers, Ubab Makubane, passed away as well. No Babu Alf Kumalo. So we have these icons, you know, who are like passing. So I just wanted to keep his memory, that is Sam Zima's memory, alive, and that the docu, the premise of the docu, because I'm also an archive researcher, and then I've worked in a lot of these kind of docus and stories, and only on June is remembered, right? But the course of the year, he just disappears. He's in the background, So I just wanted to tell his story and what he has recorded, because through his lens, you can see the landscape of South Africa,
Absolutely.
our history of South Africa, yeah.
Absolutely. And the irony is that, as you say, that only in June is he remembered. But if we are being truthful, I think all South Africans, though very much familiar with that iconic photo of Hector Peterson, a lot of people, when asked, do you know who shot it? They don't even know the name of the legend himself, Sam Zima, let alone the countless other photographers of that particular generation. And that sadly just speaks to our lack of honoring the contributions of photographers, particularly of that time, who archived a very sad history, but it needed to, and they took up that responsibility.
Yeah, I mean, if you, because what I tried to do, I tried not to just to tell the story about the image, but I also tried to bring his life and the life of journalists or photojournalists of that time. And we were lucky enough, we brought people like Tate Joe Chloe, Tamima Zwai, people who grew up with him in that environment, of journalism, where if you are a certain skin color, you have to cover certain stories. But you're rightfully so, the sacrifices that they made, that these icons, it's upon us. I mean, I have a daughter, I'd like her to know when she sees this image, who's the man behind that image, why, and in that manner, she gets to know her own history as well.
Yeah, as much credit is given to that image of Hector Peterson and what it did for the liberation of our country worldwide and sort of rallying nations in support, but it also came at quite the personal and professional cost for Bab Sam Zima.
Yeah, I mean, in the story you get it's a bittersweet kind of life on his part, because that particular image, sort of like ended his career as a photojournalist because he was banned, he was under house arrest, and he had to move from his house in Soweto to live in Mpumalanga. So he became like an outcast, just because he took those kind of images. And I must say that it's not just only him. A lot of photographers and a lot of journalists, So this film is about, shining a light and spotlight on journalists in particular, who go out and dig for the stories. And then it was hard. I mean, now I feel like it's easier. You can just go on Google or go on social media and you get some stories. Then you had to find the story that is so impactful. So he suffered a lot, and he says that on the film,
Yeah.
But also he's also proud, and that's the thing, about this, which for me, I wish he was here, because I told his family as well that what pushed me is because I had promised him that I'll finish this book, because he didn't trust people who just came to him and asked him about that particular image, as I said, on June 16, but he suffered a lot. So that I was trying to bring that out, actually. You know?
Let's quickly touch on the sacrifice as maybe even articulated. We heard his voice in the clip that we played saying that picture is the one that destroyed his journey in journalism. But I can imagine also that being in this community at that time, at the height of apartheid, it probably also garnered a lot of opinion just from the community, from his neighbors, a lot of anxiety, and maybe even a sense of not feeling safe because of proximity to this photographer who had the courage to take that snap.
Yeah, I mean, one of the people who comes from that area in Mpumalanga, Elijah Mhlanga is a well-known media specialist now, and he's also a photographer. He tells his story about how Sam Nzima came to his school, because, he comes from a rural area. And he got inspired. After that, he knew from then, after meeting him, that all he wants is to be a photojournalist, like Sam Nzima. So he has inspired a lot of people around that community as well, which is great for the film as well, and for his life and his contribution.
Absolutely.
Now,
the film, the docu, Sam Nzima, A Journey Through His Lens, it's premiering come the end of the month on the 29th at the Joburg Film Festival, from what I understand.
Yes, at theater on the square or square in the theater, I don't know. It's 17. But it's also on Sunday the 3rd at the Rosebank Cinema.
Okay.
So people can come and watch it at 2:30, I think. I'm also excited. And just to mention, Bridget, if I may say this, because I've worked with people like who sacrificed. I mean, my team, coincidentally, my company is called Full Circle.
I know.
But the effort that I put, this is a kind of a self-funded project. That's why it took a lot of time, So I hope people will be inspired to make these kind of stories, because some platforms will tell you we're tired of hearing the story. I'm not tired. And there's so many stories I still need to tell, and this is what we just do at Full Circle Productions. Tell
Absolutely.
those kind of stories.
Absolutely. Nhlanhla, we appreciate the time with you this afternoon. That was Nhlanhla Mthethwa. He is the director and producer of a new docu-series, Sam Nzima, A Journey Through His Lens. And as you heard, it's going to be premiering as part of the Joburg Film Festival's itinerary on the 29th. And you can catch it on the 3rd of March, which is the following Sunday, at the Rosebank Cinema Nouveau, where it's going to then have a lovely public screening. Wonderful story to be told, indeed, to be archived for generations to come, to get to know the names of the likes of Sam Nzima, whose sacrifices did so much for the liberation of this country. It is 2:45. We are going to go back to back with Radio Workshop as well as Kids Corner. Let's take a quick break here.
Good day. I'm Madidaba Wasichaba, and these are your top stories. Reports state that SAMA award-winning, platinum-selling artist Vusi Nova is planning to get his lick back and tell his side of the story. After years of getting vilified by the media and becoming a victim of cancel culture, the star is ready to show the world who he is beyond the name and the fame, proving why Angeke Baskone as Mzansi gets to see him unapologetic, uncut and unprovoked. For more on this, catch Vusi Nova Unprovoked starting on the 2nd of March on SABC1. I'm Madidaba Wasichaba.
The top flight outfits are adamant that they are the great masters of the game, but the junior teams refuse to shake and break. The moments of upset are back again in the battle of 32 teams. This is the Cup of Dreams, the Nedbank Cup. Experience it live on SABC TV channels and SABC radio stations. Also available on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com. # We Love It Here. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga. Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
So last week, Radio Workshop released a podcast episode that was titled Dear Radio, of course, in celebration of World Radio Day and 100 years of radio in Africa. And the episode featured 4 radio stories from the continent. And we shared one of those last week. And today, we're sharing part 2 of the second. And in this story, Nduka or Jemo takes us back to the day when rumors of Nigerian dictator General Sani Abacha's death spread like wildfire, and the only way for him to be sure was to tune into the BBC on his father's old Sanyo radio.
Radio is often the place we turn to for news, especially when events are unfolding quickly and the truth is murky. Journalist Nduka Ojinmo takes us back to just such a moment, to the 1990s during the dictatorship of General Sani Abacha. Under his regime, local radio stations avoided discussing politics. It was safer that way, which left only one place on the radio to learn the truth.
The date was 8th June 1998. I was 12 years old at the time, living in Port Harcourt. I remember walking home from school that day, and when I turned the corner and my Macharity's shop was closed, I knew something was wrong. Now, usually the green, yellow, and red polythene bags that hung on the shop door signaled that I was almost home. But something was definitely going on. People talked in small groups on the streets. Others seemed to be in a hurry. I did not know it then, but there had been rumors that Nigeria's military ruler was dead, General Sani Abacha, the despot, the one whose name still evokes fear in many Nigerians today. If rumors of Abacha's death were unfounded, it might mean chaos. His soldiers had flogged people on the streets for less trivial matters. It might also have been a coup, and if that had been unsuccessful, it meant reprisals and riots. So, shops quickly closed, and that's why Mama Charity had taken in those colorful bags and gone home. Even my mother closed her provisions shop early to hurry home. I found her crouched over the kerosene stove, using a wooden ladle to stir eba, a meal made from cassava flakes. "You hear say Abacha don't die?" my older brother asked. "Shh," my mother said, lowering the fire on the stove as the eba congealed. "Abacha die?" I asked. I saw the cold stare from my mother. She made a point with the ladle. My brother and I knew what its hard edges could do if we continued talking. So, we kept quiet.
The following decisions come into immediate effect. The interim national government is hereby dissolved.
The brutal Sani Abacha had seized power in 1993 after elections had been annulled.
All processions, political meetings and associations of any type in any part of the country are hereby banned.
He unleashed unimaginable terror for 4 years. People were killed throughout Nigeria by firing squad, by bombs, by bullets. I had heard everything about Abacha from my father. My father did not go past primary school for his education, but he could read and write. And unlike most people in our compound at Mboba, he had an obsession with the news. He liked to read newspapers and watch the 9 o'clock news on TV in the evening. But his favorite medium was radio. He had a small silver-colored Sanyo radio, black around the edges from overuse. It was placed on a shelf where the children could only reach it with a stool. Sometimes he would shout, "Nduka, get me my radio, it's time for the news." Or, "Children, can't you see I'm listening to the news? Quiet." He always reminded us that the radio was bought before we were born. It was like a first child to him. So, going back to that day's event, by early evening, my father had returned from work. A small crowd had gathered in the open space in the compound, shared by 20 families or so. "Abacha can't die. I heard he has a special native doctor," said Papa Ejima. "I heard it was a coup," said another. On and on the discussion went. In the background, the song played. It was high life music coming out of a small transistor radio. Radio Rivers 2 was the only radio station we had in Port Harcourt at that time, and it was government owned. These days there are 20 of them. So, how you go take Sabi if the wicked man don't die? Asked the man Ngozi in Pidgin. She wanted to know how the crowd was going to confirm Abacha's death. No one said anything. If not true, BBC will carry her, said my father. Nduka, bring my radio. So I went in, climbed on the dining chair, and picked up my father's radio from its place on the top of the shelf. My mother was inside. She gave me side eye for being outside after she told me not to. But she didn't stop me. I turned the knob as I took the radio out. The red light flickered on, and I extended the antenna. The crowd parted as I brought the radio forward. I could have been carrying a prize trophy or a poison chalice, hope or despair.
To hear more on how Nduka's story ends, you can listen to the full Dear Radio episode by searching for Radio Workshop on your preferred podcast platform. And you can also find out more about Radio Workshop and the work that they undertake at www.radioworkshop.org. We're going to take a quick break here, and then we come back on the other side of this and we get into Kids Corner that will run us through to the top of the hour. Madupi's coming through with your news.
Sure, girl, this Ford Puma, I love the interior. And how about its award-winning engine and selectable drive modes? From only $7,899 per month with 0% deposit, primeless 5.5% and a driver assistance pack included.
Sure, get more with the new Ford Puma Titanium from only $7,899 per month.
Visit your nearest Ford dealer today. T&Cs apply.
After a narrow 1-0 victory on home soil, Modern Future want to do it again away from home. Meanwhile, Matatansa Putori says their kindness ended in Cairo. This is the Confederation Cup. Catch the return leg group stage clash between SuperSport United FC and Modern Future FC this Sunday, 25 February at 3 p.m. Live on SABC Sport on TTT Channel 4. Also available on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com. Hashtag We Love It Here. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
Coming up on the book reading. Do men deserve love when they hurt the people they claim to love? What makes a man hurt the person he swears he loves? What, if any, calculations does a woman make that this new man she has met will not abuse her, will not kill her?
Catch the book reading on SFM Monday to Thursday at 11:45 on the Talking Point.
You're listening to Bridget Masinga on SAFM. This program is brought to you by SABC Education, enriching minds, enriching lives.
Hello everyone, my name is Reva Tanaka and I am 11 years old. I am in the grade 6 class and I attend school at Chikewa Christian School. The name of my poem is Remember Woman. Remember woman, you are born life giver, miracle creator, magic maker. You are born with the heart of 1,000 mothers, open and fearless and sweet. You are born with the fire of queens and conquerors, warriors, blood and bleed. You are born with the wisdom of sages and shamans. No wound can you not heal. You are born the teller of your own tale. Before none should you kneel. You are born with the immeasurable soul reaching out past infinity. You are born to desire with passion, abandon, and to name your own destiny. Remember, woman, remember. You are more than you can see. Remember, woman, remember. You are loved endlessly. Remember, woman, your power and your grace. The depth of your deep sea heart. Never forget you are a woman divine, as you have been from the start. I wrote this poem because I saw that also women are strong, and I would also like to share about a woman called Margaret Thatcher. She was also very important, and also those kids over there who think that women are less important than men. I want to tell them that today, women are also part of the strong chain.
Hi everyone, my name is Kulufelo Netengwe and I'm going to read a poem about the Earth's pollution. It talks about what is happening in our Earth and how the Earth is dying slowly but surely and how we can help it. Come look into the future with me. What kind of future can you see? There are no flying cars or people living on Mars. Instead, we are damaging the Earth from surface to core. How much longer can we continue this war? Look at the grass that used to be so green. It has now gone brown from the lack of being clean. And the year after next, all the trees will be gone from each and every remaining horizon. The world has been in a thick gray smog, no longer just a harmless floating fog. People are struggling to breathe through all this dirt. Can't you see it is beginning to hurt? Is this different from what you thought you would see before you came on this journey with me? Look at all this pollution. We can find a solution. So recycle all your bottles and cans and get everybody using their hands to plant new trees and save our bees. Now we must keep the rivers clean and turn the forest green. And now that you are aware of this dangerous affair, it's time to show the earth we care. This poem teaches other children that they should start recycling and making sure things are clean, such as our grass and our rivers, and stop polluting them.
Greetings in the name of the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. My name is Karida Mrendeni and I would like to share a poem with you. The name of the poem is Leadership. Sometimes being a leader is important because being a leader is showing people the way they should be. Like Nelson Mandela. He was a very brave leader. He had a lot of qualities. Being brave, being kind to people, and not giving up on getting freedom. This is how a leader should be, showing people that you are confident of getting freedom. If you want to be a leader, you should first follow Nelson Mandela's steps. I wrote this poem because I want to be a leader when I'm still young. I want to be a leader when I'm still attending school, because here in Chikeva, when you are in grade 7, you become a leader. You become a prefect or a head girl or head boy. I want to become one of those because I want to show people the right way. This poem is telling us about, if you want to be a leader, first follow the steps of being a leader. Then that's how you can be a leader. You must also be brave enough to do what you are asked for. You have to have confidence because you want to be a leader. Having confidence is showing people that you are brave enough to do what they asked for. And when people talk about you, you must have confidence and just leave them alone and say, I'm brave enough, I can do this.
My name is Lorraine Moya. I'm in grade 3. The title of my story is A Prayer for Help. I am in grade 3. I'm going to recite a few verses from Psalm 86 reflecting on what is happening in our country. Every day a child is kidnapped or killed. We are afraid to live in our own land. Listen to me, O Lord, and answer me, for I am helpless and weak. Save me from death, because I am faithful, loyal to you. Save me, for I am your servant and I trust in you. You are my God, so be merciful to me. I pray to you all day long. There is no God like you. Oh Lord, not one has done what you have done. So this one is saying that every single day it's just a child is getting kidnapped or killed, which means that our country is dangerous.
Hi, my name is Ndinai Pusiwa and I'm in grade 5. I am going to recite a poem on education. Education, the light of life, a gift academic rife. Education, the key to a bright and rewarding future, a glue that joins our dream like a suture. Education, a path to divine success, a smooth drive to our lightness. Education gives our thinking a different appearance and helps drive away all our ignorance. Education, it leads us the path of prosperity and gives our tomorrow a sounding security. Teachers paint their minds and guide their thoughts, share their achievements and advise their faults, inspire love of knowledge and truth as you light the path which leads your youth. I wrote this poem dedicated in education because education is a key to open up the future. It gives you a brainstorm of how your future is gonna be. You'll be wishing that I want to be a doctor because I'm so smart. I want to be that and that, and that's why I wrote this, so it can give me confidence that I want to be something like this. Here is another one, a poem on trees. Trees, trees, trees. Trees can be short, trees can be tall. Whatever kind, I like them all. They give us oxygen, they give us air. We give them love, we give them care. We take care of them as they are small roots to when they are grown plants. They give us berries, they give us apples. They give us peaches, they give us leashes. Because of this special day called Abba Day. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Jessica tender. And the name of my poem is Be Proud of Who You Are. I come with no wrapping or pretty pink bows. I am who I am from my head to my toes. I tend to get loud when speaking my mind, even a little crazy some of the time. I am not a size 5 and don't care to be. You can be you and I can be me. I try to stay strong when pain knocks me down, and the times that I cry are when no one's around. To err is human, also that's what they say. Well, tell me who's perfect anyway. I wrote this poem because this world needs people who take pride in who they are, people who are unique and who think they are unique. I don't want people to doubt themselves, even though they make mistakes and they know that they aren't perfect. They should still take pride in who they are and believe in themselves. I feel that this is teaching other kids and other people that no matter what you do, though you make mistakes, though you aren't perfect, you are wonderful the way you are, and you should never doubt yourself and always be confident in yourself.
Hello, my name is Rufina Mauna and I'm 11 years old, and I'm going to be reading a poem called Believe in Yourself. Believe in yourself and in your dream. Though impossible things may seem, someday somehow you'll get through to the goal you have in view. Mountains fall and seas divide before the one who in his stride takes a hard road day by day, sweeping obstacles away. Believe in yourself and in your plan. Say not, I cannot, but I can. The prices of life we fail to win because we doubt the power within. I wrote this poem to tell you guys that you should not be ashamed of who you are, and you should be proud of yourself the way you are.
It's great to hear our friends reciting poetry. Poetry is literally work in which the expression of feelings and ideas are given style and rhythm.
This program was brought to you by SABC Education. Enriching minds, enriching lives. Independent and impartial. This is SAFM News.
The top story is at 2 o'clock. The DA threatens legal action over the cadre deployment records, and foreign hawkers attacked in Limpopo. Very good afternoon. The DA has threatened to launch a contempt of court application to force the ANC to hand over more documents from its cadre deployment committee meetings. The party says it has given the ANC until tomorrow to hand over all the documents as directed by the Constitutional Court. DA leader John Steenhuisen has told a media briefing in Cape Town that they will also institute a criminal case against ANC SG Fikile Mbalula, who he accuses of seeking to hide President Cyril Ramaphosa's involvement in the cadre deployment saga.
We will use the precedent created by the case of Jacob Zuma when he was sent to prison for similarly being in contempt of a constitutional court order. And finally, we will be pursuing criminal charges against ANC officials involved in the destruction of information as part of the blatant cover-up campaign to try and wipe President Cyril Ramaphosa's fingerprints off of the cadre deployment records.
Foreign national hawker stalls have been set alight and looted by unhappy community members in Leboakgomo, Limpopo. Residents are demanding the removal of stalls owned by foreign nationals in town. They accuse the foreign nationals of occupying the stalls in the CBD, leaving the locals without space to trade. The Leboakgomo Hawkers Association chair, Matsimela Munjani.
We want foreign nationals to leave our town. We wrote on the memorandum that we no longer want them in Leboakgomo because they are the ones who are enjoying. They have brought containers which we are not allowed to use. They tiled their containers. We decided to take to the streets because foreign nationals are not complying, and we are forced to comply.
The parents of the children who died at the Enyobeni Tavern have expressed disappointment on the sentence handed down to the tavern owners by the East London Regional Court. The couple, Siakangela and Vuyokazi Ndevu, were fined 5,000 rand each or 100 days behind bars after they were found guilty of selling liquor to underage persons. Enyobeni, which is based in Scenery Park, made headlines in 2022 after 21 young people died inside the tavern. Parent Khululekile Nqandana says the judgment is not setting an example about the importance of not selling liquor to minors.
I am a bit disappointed, and the magistrate said as well that maybe some of us will be disappointed about the verdict. We think it's a bit lenient because this is a serious case to sell alcohol to the underage. And as the legislature says that the maximum sentence, we thought the maximum sentence will be given to them, no matter they are the first offenders.
3 people have been seriously injured following a crash involving several vehicles on the N3 northbound at Hilton in Pietermaritzburg. Emergency Services spokesperson Roland Robertson.
Midlands EMS paramedics were dispatched to the N3 northbound between Hilton and Sodara for a multi-vehicle accident. On arrival, it was found that multiple vehicles were involved in a collision, leaving 1 person trapped and 2 others injured, with injuries ranging from severe to moderate, requiring advanced life support treatment. Once stabilized, all patients were transported to various hospitals for further care.
And the Namibian Justice Minister has told the International Court of Justice in The Hague that the attacks on Palestinians in Gaza evoke the painful memories of genocide conducted by Germany on Namibians. Yvonne Dausab is representing Namibia at the ICJ's public hearings on the legality of the occupation of Palestinian territories by Israel. She says residents have been violently removed and displaced from their homes. Namibia and other countries, including South Africa, want the World Court to declare the Israeli occupation illegal. Dausab elaborates.
Today, Palestinians have had to endure the seizure of their land and property, illegal settlements, unlawful killings, forced displacement, drastic movement restrictions, the denial of refugees' right to return, and of equal nationality and citizenship. The lived reality of the people of Palestine evokes painful memories for many Namibians of my generation.
The top story at 2, the DA has threatened to launch a contempt of court application to force the ANC to hand over more documents from its cadre deployment committee meetings. For SAFM News, ke Modupima Kgalemele.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
The Free State Provincial Government, under the leadership of Premier Mxolisi Dukwana, will host the much-anticipated Free State Investment Conference. The conference seeks to promote the province as an investment destination through showcasing strategic investment projects. Do join us on the 27th of February 2024 at the University of the Free State's main campus in Bloemfontein. The Free State Provincial Government, harnessing partnerships, stimulating growth and development through investment.
And we would buy 500 cars, and we would buy 500 more. So sell your car for the best price, and we won't think about it twice. We buy cars, we buy cars. Da-da-dun-da-da-dun-da-da-dun-da-da-da-da. We buy cars, we buy cars. Da-da-dun-da-da-dun-da-da-dun-da-da-da-da.
We Buy Cars, the easiest way to sell your car by far.
Set your sights on winning the millions with Powerball and Powerball Plus jackpots estimated at a total 66 million rand this Friday. Play Powerball for an estimated 40 million rand and Powerball Plus for an estimated 26 million rand today. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120*7529# for USSD. Panda, Pusha, play. Players must be 18 years old to play responsibly. E2 is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
RSP Bekane are happy to be on the summit of Group D. They just want to maintain their unbeaten record. But Babina Noko are not impressed with their 2-0 loss in Morocco. They are searching for a big revenge. This is the CAF Confederation Cup. Catch the return leg between Sekhukhune United and RSP Bekane this Sunday, 25 February at 9 p.m. Live on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4. Also available on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com. Hashtag We Love It Here. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga. Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
in chains, you're in chains too. Our uniforms and you wear uniforms too. I'm a prisoner, you're a prisoner too, Mr. Jailer. I have fears, you have fears too. I would die, but you self go die too. Life is beautiful, don't you think so too, Mr. Jailer? I'm talking to you, jailer. Stop calling me a prisoner. Letting you ease without saying be the first to cast a stone, Mr. Jailer. Oh, Mr. Jailer. You suppress all my strategies. You oppress, well, every part of me. What you don't know, you're a victim too, Mr. Jailer Man. You don't care about my point of view. If I die, another will work for you. So you treat me like a modern slave, Mr. Jailer. I'm talking to you, jailer. Stop calling me a prisoner. Letting you hear without saying be the first to cast a stone. Oh no. If you're walking in the marketplace, down throw stones. If you do, you just might one of your own. Life is not about your policies all the time, so you better rearrange your philosophies and be good to your fellow man, jailer. Stop calling me prisoner. Let hear you is without sin. Be the first to cast a stone. Oh, I'm talking to you, Mr. Jailer Man. Stop calling me yours. Let hear you is without sin. Be the first to cast a stone, Mr. Jailer Man.
You really have to drill into the lyrics of the song. It is Usher's Jailer coming through. Beautiful song, beautiful piece of writing there. And this was released around, I think, 2007, 2006, if I'm not mistaken. We thought we'd play you the acoustic version today because oftentimes, we play you the recorded version of the song. And so today we thought let's bring you a little bit of that acoustic rendition. It's still got a beautiful feel to it, no? I hope you enjoyed it. Fast approaching 2:15 on the Full Circle with myself, Bridget Masinga, on this fine Friday, coming to you from our headquarters today in Johannesburg. Right now, we are going to catch up with Ryan Lang, who is a strategist and social intelligence expert, and he's going to unpack for us the 2024 Social Media Trends Report, and this was something that was undertaken by Ogilvy, who are, of course, one of the leaders in the space of marketing and advertising. Ryan, good afternoon to you. How are you doing?
How are you?
I'm fantastic, thank you. Cannot complain at all. So Ogilvy has just released the 2024 Social Media Trends Report. I'm not going to ask what motivated this, given the nature of your business at Ogilvy. So let's delve into what were some of the outcomes and the findings for this 2024 report.
Cool, yeah. I think there's about 10 trends that are mentioned within the document itself, but from our point of view, we really focused in on one truly big thing, which is really this idea of culture being at the center stage of what brands need to be doing within social media in 2024 and likely beyond. Mm-hmm. That for us is really the biggest deal. There are other things that obviously will influence this. We have, on the topic of influence, creators and influencers becoming a much larger part of what brands need to be doing in the next year and again beyond. We also have this big idea of how video will continue to dominate in the years to come. We've seen this happening over the past few years, and it's only going to get bigger. And a final takeout is really around this idea of, hate to say it, but AI. It's inescapable, right? It's not something we can do anything to do with trends without mentioning.
Absolutely. I mean, as we have our conversation, we've seen and we know how social media has literally taken over the business sphere, whether it's the world of marketing and advertising, whether it's education, whatever sector it is, it's ingrained into our lives now. It's such an integral part of just our social existence and the way that we communicate. And I can imagine that particularly in the spaces of marketing, brands and advertising, it becomes important to track these trends and to understand them just as quickly as they evolve year on year.
100%. I think that's what you're getting at is really the core of this idea of being at the center of culture. It is, of course, about how do we stay there and how do we track and understand what's happening within the broader culture to tap into it from a brand point of view. But a big sort of idea, which is starting to happen quite a bit, is that culture is moving from the space of being very top-down, where we get a big cultural occurrence in the mainstream culture that filters into brands, and everyone will start doing sort of responsive content or reacting to that content. And I feel like in today's time, culture is actually happening from the bottom up.
Yeah.
Actually, what we're seeing is social media is starting to shape and enable culture in a way that it hasn't in the past.
And when we talk of culture as well, we're not talking, traditional culture as we know it and understand it from our history pages, but we're talking more so social culture here. We're talking more so things that are impacted by who we are as people, the things we consume, the environments we live in, and what that feels, looks like, sounds like, tastes like, etc.
That's exactly it. What we're talking about is the things that people say on social media, the memes that are created, the jokes that we make, the shared sort of social existence that we have within the internet is really what we speak about when we say culture. It's definitely not about our sort of traditional cultures that we come from. It is this modern idea of this culture that we're co-creating together virtually.
Yeah. And now, if Ryan, you are saying that, and I guess some people maybe who observe the space and the role of social media have noticed what you say about social media sort of shaping and reforming culture, the bottom-up approach. Where does that leave brands, particularly when we also understand how nuanced certain things are, and that brands have to now actively try and tap in to largely conversations that they no longer are in control of?
This is a great point. And it's, I think, again, when we think of things being bottom up, is that not every brand can tap into the mainstream culture, because in reality, they likely just don't have the social credit to be able to speak in those different spaces. But I think what's happening now is because culture is, as I say, bottom up and a lot more sort of decentralized. There's a lot more different communities and niches and subcultures emerging at the moment, that it's actually giving more opportunity to brands to be able to tap into the right sort of niche communities, consumers and groups that are relevant to their brands.
Did you also see any sort of, I guess, notable recurring trends or maybe drastic changes in how people are consuming, or what people are sort of, what the outtakes are in this relationship that we have with social media?
Definitely. Like I mentioned a bit earlier, video content is a big part of this, and it continues to, view times continue to go through the roof, and it continues to rise year on year. So a big part of this is obviously TikTok has entered the social landscape, and I think it's now pretty mainstream.
Yeah.
It's eaten into the sort of traditional big social players so quickly that it has impacted the way that, for example, Instagram and Facebook do what they do.
And I think, to your point about TikTok, was it last year or was it 2022 when almost overnight Instagram responded to video content, and it took quite a few sort of heavy-hitting international celebrity accounts to fight the fight in order for them to roll it back a little bit, because it was like an overnight transition where they just pushed video content.
Yeah, most certainly. Instagram went from a photo-sharing app to a video content app over the space of one evening, basically. But I think that's the power of what video content is doing right now. I mean, when we see what Instagram has done with Reels, it's essentially a carbon copy of what TikTok is. But they certainly don't downplay the power of what video content can do now.
And then authenticity. You brought this up in your report. Authenticity. How big of a role is that playing on social media?
Yeah, it's a really interesting one because, I mean, you yourself will know as well that from a sort of social influence point of view, it's traditionally been in the space where we've selected influencers who can give us high reach and exposure for our brands and our products, and things feel a little bit forced in some cases. There's a bit of a forced fit in terms of the product being placed in whatever content an influencer is making. But the shift now that's really happening is that things are becoming a lot more natural, a lot more authentic, a lot more real. The product sort of and brand integration into creator content feels a lot more real. The production level is not as high. There's not this glamorous outlook on life. It's a very sort of real way of showcasing a brand in a consumer's life.
So you're saying we're rolling back a little bit on the soft life. And it's always been interesting to me, Ryan, and I don't know if, in your spaces with your colleagues and your counterparts at Ogilvy, this comes up as a topic of conversation or not. When for instance, one looks at, creators, influencer creator platforms, their social media accounts, that gloss, that sort of hyper-polished look, it has been the trend, the overriding trend for a number of years now, since sort of the height and the boom of particularly Instagram. But when you contrast it, for instance, to what would traditionally be called celebrity or personality accounts, so athletes and actors and singers and broadcasters, whatever, those accounts have always leaned more towards that authentic kind of look, almost like a behind the scenes of the person's otherwise glamorous life. And I have often wondered where one strikes the balance, especially in a South African context, because I think with us, it's even more hyper glammed to some degree.
That is true, and it is about striking a balance, especially when you're trying to balance the idea of this sort of hyper-polished glam look, the real authentic look, and the brand itself, because at the end of the day, we obviously have to be cognizant that there's budgets involved and there's KPIs and all of this kind of stuff. So it's definitely a difficult balancing act, but I think what we've seen and what we detail quite a bit in the Trends Report is the brands that are going at it in this sort of more authentic way by reaching out to the right sort of creators and partnering with them. And I think the key word is partnership and not just paying someone to do something. That's really where you enter the space of co-creation. So balancing the sort of, it looks glam and it connects with my audience, but also it feels real. I think in a space of co-creation, everyone's voices are being heard, and I feel like in that way we're allowing the creators to do what they do best, but we're also allowing the brand to have its voice within that conversation as well.
Yeah, it's quite the lucrative field. We thought it was a fleeting thing but it's moved on. I mean, when you think about the genesis of the new order of cool, all the new kids on social media, just 2-3 years ago, they were known as influencers because of their ability to influence markets for people like yourselves. And now we've sort of shifted that title, and now we cemented them fully as creatives, and we now term them creators. And I think that indicates a few things, sort of a shift in the mindset, number one, and also anchoring the realness of this profession that seems to not be going anywhere, and also adding credibility to the product and the content that is given and produced by them.
Definitely, most definitely. It's definitely a career opportunity right now. That's a big reality. There are kids earning millions of rands by playing games with their friends online and streaming it on Twitch. There's so much real opportunity in that. It's definitely a big time opportunity. I mean, an interesting thing is, I think a couple of years ago there was a survey done with kids between the age of 16 and 17, and there was about half of them put down that what they would like to be as a career choice is a YouTuber or a content creator. And I think that just gives you an idea of the type of sort of world that we live in, right? Like it's a really interesting opportunity for people.
Absolutely. And coming in, taking its place in market, 480 billion by 2027.
Yes, that's correct. I mean, we can see from a brand and an agency, just a general marketing point of view, that creators are providing companies with a really easy sort of into their audiences, an authentic one that connects really easily, and it's a part of everyone's marketing plans now. So again, it's just another sort of underpinning of the idea that this sort of authentic way of marketing your brand and your products and your company is certainly here to stay.
And I can also guess that in conversations with your clients, as you think about campaigns and strategies and brand positioning and all of that, integrating social media becomes an integral part of what you do for them and with them.
Certainly. I mean, we focus quite a lot on the digital side of things. Of course, it's the sort of reach and attention and eyeballs that social media can generate in 2024 is obviously way larger than it's ever been before, and it continues to grow. And again, it's this idea of that pretty much everyone is on social media now, All of the legacy platforms like Facebook, like Instagram, these continue to do really well. For example, advertiser spend is still at its highest within Facebook and Instagram. And that just gives us an idea that those platforms are far from dead. They still continue to drive metrics and engagement and KPIs for brands globally and in South Africa. And that's without even mentioning other sort of new entrants, like we said, around TikTok and this kind of thing. So it's certainly at the core of what needs to be done from a modern marketing point of view. It'll really just come down to your brand, right?
Yeah.
Not every brand should be doing the exact same thing in the exact same way, and that's really, I think, where the magic will happen.
I mean, listen, you've given us so much insight, and I think for anybody trying to compete, and ensure brand visibility and reach, these are some things that need to be considered. That was Ryan Lang, and he's the digital strategist and intelligence director at Ogilvy's Social Lab. That's how much social media is staying, that a whole Ogilvy has an entire department dedicated to it now, moving into the future. Ryan Lang, I appreciate the time with you. It's 2:30 on the Full Circle with myself, Bridget Masinga. Let's catch up with the headline news, and then we come back into this and get into our full access for today.
Thanks, Bridget. A very good afternoon. With the news headlines, the Northwest High Court has sentenced a 43-year-old man to 11 life terms on rape charges and an additional 363 years for other serious offenses. The DA has threatened to launch a contempt of court application to force the ANC to hand over more documents from its Cater Deployment Committee meetings. And emergency services say at least 4 people have been killed in a massive fire in 2 joined high-rise apartment buildings in the Spanish city of Valencia. Details of these and other stories coming up at 3.
Arts, culture, and robust conversations with Bridget Masinga.
Mangwani mpele khale ngwana yo ke ya lema ke le nosi Mangwani mpele khale ngwana yo ke ya lema ke le nosi Mangwani mpele khale ngwana yo ke ya lema ke le nosi Akompulele Kilema, kilinosi, kilema, 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 kilinosi, kilema, kilema.
It is Aus Tebza coming through with that one. Mangwane is the name of the song, and it's a brand new single that she's released after a 2-year hiatus. She's back to creating music. A lot of people are very much familiar with Aus Tebza as one of the country's leading bass players. She's got quite the repertoire of musicians that she's worked with over the years, and she's coming through for full access today for a catch-up. Let's take a quick break here, and then we'll come back on the other side of this.
SAFM has signed a code of conduct that is enforced by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. Under the code, we are committed to giving news that is accurate, comment that is fair, and programming that is not harmful, does not amount to hate speech, or contain violence or explicit sex. If you think we are not living up to that code, then you can inform the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. Direct any complaints in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. PO Box 142365. Craig Hall 2024. Fax to 011-326-3198 or an email to bccsa@nabsa.co.za. For more information, please visit www.bccsa.co.za. Arts, culture, and robust conversations with Bridget Masinga.
Ruri, don't let ya fella. Biluliona, iyalaba. Gotta let go of my sorrow. Gotta let go of my sorrow. Gotta let go of my pain. Gotta let go of the things that put me down. Shackles off my feet and free my soul. Sala, 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 give me over. Sala, 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 no more tears just running down my face, no more feeling like there's no place for me to hide no more. The heavy burden I've been carrying has been lifted off my shoulders, lifted off my shoulders, yeah. I gotta let go, I gotta let go.
Dikeledi is the name of this particular one. Aus Tebza on the track there, bringing us to 22. I don't know how long is the distance from our reception area to here, because she's in the building. She's been in the building. So, Aus Tebza, yeah. So she's here.
She's here. Oh, there she is. There she is.
Yes.
I think she's stalking me, hey?
Really?
Yeah, I think she's stalking me
Oh,
because
okay.
just the other day we were there by the other place of employment.
Oh, such a conundrum when
You know?
two places of employment. What's coming up today?
Coming up on the show this afternoon, we speak to Kulegile Ngandane, who is the parent of one of the children that were killed in the Enyobeni Tavern tragedy. And of course, we're speaking to him following the sentence that has been handed down to the tavern owners. They have been sentenced to 5,000 rand each or 100 days in prison, and this is because the conviction is selling alcohol to a minor.
Yeah.
The deaths are still being probed. There's still an inquest that's going to be underway to look into what led to their death. So we're speaking to him. He'll be joining us this afternoon, and then also looking into we're in conversation with Tendai the Beast.
Oh yes.
Yes. He has he has a foundation, the Beast Foundation, but they have a new initiative where what they call Lead Like a Girl.
All right.
A very incredible initiative where they're targeting girls in KwaZulu-Natal, Gauteng, and Harare and Bulawayo in Zimbabwe. So we'll tell you more about that later on.
Lovely.
And then bonding session.
Yes.
What friend are you in the circle of your friends?
From which
Like,
categories of
when
friendship?
are you the one? No, your close friends, not
Okay.
just in J.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you the one who is the supportive one? Are you the one who drinks a lot?
No.
And I was saying to the team that, listen, you can be all of
All of them. Because a human can be all things all at once.
Exactly. So that's the bonding session just after 5 o'clock.
What a wowza. I do enjoy Aldrin's Fridays, yes, especially the bonding session. That's Aldrin St. Pierre coming through between 3 and 6 o'clock.
Hey, gorgeous. Want to level up your glam without emptying your wallet? Well, hurry to the best of beauty, now at Dis-Chem. Shine bright like a diamond with your favorite brands like Palladio, L'Oreal, LA Girl, and Maybelline. And get free gifts as well. Head to Dis-Chem to upgrade your beauty game with perfect skin, lips, and eyes. Shop in-store and online at Dis-Chem until 10 March and start saving. Dis-Chem, better health starts here.
The top flight outfits are adamant that they are the great masters of the game, but the junior teams refuse to shake and break. The moments of upset are back again in the battle of 32 teams. This is the Cup of Dreams, the Nedbank Cup. Experience it live on SABC TV channels and SABC radio stations. Also available on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com. Hashtag We Love It Here. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
Sundays at 2 p.m. S3 is your home for Indian cinema. From February the 18th, sit back and relax as you enjoy a world of colorful entertainment. We guarantee you a memorable experience with the best Bollywood has to offer. Enjoy the Holy Festival of Color with premium Indian cinema movies. Catch all the drama, adventure, comedy, and romance on Sundays, 2 p.m. exclusive to S3.
Arts, culture, and robust conversations with Bridget Masinga.
It has been a minute, Austebza. How are you doing?
How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Thank you for a very, very exciting greeting.
Oh, listen, me busy shouting
The
at
scolding greeting.
I was shouting at her offline because you know what? You've been in this game forever.
Oh my gosh.
And it's
say
not
that
even you.
again.
It was my intern Gamu who was taking the scenic route around SABC.
Thank you, Gamu.
Because you've been in this game forever, and I know you're a consummate professional. I mean, we've chatted before at previous radio homes.
Yeah,
You've been there like 45 minutes before.
I've been.
I know,
I've been.
right? Hey, you've been good.
I am super awesome.
Yeah.
I'm super awesome, but it's not by my doing. The grace of God is keeping me.
Yeah.
And I'm excited that I'm able to still record new music.
Yes.
Yes, and that's exciting for
we
me.
just played Mangwane as you were busy
trying to find my way.
Touring SABC with Kamu. Getting familiar with all the floors. What a beautiful song.
Thank you so much.
And this is part of the new offerings, right?
It's the first of something that's coming later on.
Yes, yeah. A lot of people know you as obviously the bassist.
bass player,
the bass player. You've been in this industry forever. You've played bass for like 10 years with Double HP. You've played with Proverb. You played with so many people. And I
still play with so many
people. I was so surprised to be like, wait, this voice is coming out of Austebza?
And it's an exciting findings. I'm going to put it that way, because from my first single, I've been playing and singing bass, but I think people were not putting the two together.
Yes.
They thought, oh, okay, probably you found somebody to sing and you're playing bass. Only now people are like, wait a minute. Are you the one who is singing and playing? And one promoter was like, but how do you do it? How do you sing and play at the same time? I'm like, I don't know, but I think it comes from practicing.
Yes.
But yes, Austebza has been singing way before I started playing. I guess the bass picked up more than the singing, because it's It's a unique skill.
Absolutely,
and talent,
unique to see a female behind a bass.
Yes.
Because that was your USP, as they say in the world of marketing.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I absolutely. And as we're talking, I'm thinking. I mean, the last time I saw you was a couple of years ago at the old place.
Yes.
And in fact, you came for a jam session for my show.
Yes.
But the image that I have of you is you on a bass, and as you're talking, I'm like, no, she must have been singing because there was a mic as well.
And I was, and I'm excited that people are also picking up on that.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm putting, or I have been putting out in the market as a solo artist, because people know me as a bass player. But now I'm saying to people, I've got more to offer. It has always been there, but everything also works in in its own little doses, and now I'm ready for people to really experience me holistically. And I love what one fan said to me, was like, oh my goodness, I thought I was in love with Richard Bonner.
Yes.
It's like now I have a female Richard Bonner to fall in love with. So that's so
it.
beautiful. And it also, I mean, I think we need to allow the industry to grow. Let's allow, new styles of music, of genres, of creativity as well. And yes, it's exciting that we've got everything, all these types of music that are happening for South Africans and all over the world. But this is so authentic. It's so beautiful. It's acoustic. It's intimate. It's very honest.
Yeah.
And I want people to really enjoy that kind of understanding when they listen to my music. The new song, Mangwane.
Yes. It's amazing. Like I said, you were touring SABC when we were playing it, because as we're playing it, I was going, she should be here.
Yeah.
So and also there's a familiarity about it, but there's a freshness about it as well. Because one of my producers walked in here and he says, wait, is this a rendition of like a Dorothy Masuka song?
Oh, wow.
It's got that thing.
Yes.
Yabo?
It really does. If you, somebody explained it to me perfectly, and I was like, wow, thank you, Lord, that you gave it to somebody else to explain it to me.
Yes.
It's like Mangwane is such a bridge between your first and second album, because when you listen to it, it has that familiarity about it, which brings this nostalgic feel about it, but also it's fresh.
Yes.
So it's like a bridge. It's like you are trying to say, okay, this is where I've been, but this is where I am, and I'm also showing you where I'm going. So I mean, Mangwane Mpelechele, the song is Mangwane. Mangwane in Setswana means the mother of the child, or it can mean your aunt, depending on how you're using it.
Yeah.
So Mangwane Mpelechele ngwana yo ke a lema, it's an old telltale that we know as Africans, but now in this sense I'm using it as a metaphor to say those that are supposed to be there to give a lending help, to give advice. Can you do that? Can you come and do that? Can you see me asking for help?
So it's almost like a reach into the ancestry, reach into the lineage.
It's a reach into who we are as a people, as a family. From my perspective, it came from a sense of longing, and I've recently lost my mother, and I was in a place where I felt like I need to be seen. I needed to be acknowledged. I needed, somebody to see me and say something to me that would encourage me. And that's how the song came about. So I was singing from the place that wanted, to be validated, wanted to be encouraged, and that's how the song came about.
Oh, what? Thank you for sharing. Thank you for that. It's our steps are in studio. Let's take a quick break here, and then we'll come back and continue our conversation. A quick break here.
The Market Update, Monday to Thursday, 6 to 7 p.m.
Want to stay ahead of the financial game? Join us tonight from 6 to 7 p.m. for an insightful journey through the day's market developments, financial updates, and investment news. Tune in for your daily dose of financial intelligence as we navigate the twists and turns of the financial landscape with expert insights. Only on the SAFM Market Update.
SAFM Market Update with Jimmy Muyaha. Arts, culture, and robust conversations with Bridget Masinga.
We are hanging around with Aus Tebza in studio. She's a songwriter, vocalist, a music director, a bassist, born and bred. In her ID document, it says Tebugo Sidumedi. Americans will say, "What's your government?" In her government name. We don't call her by that though, because she's earned her stripes as Aus Tebza, and that is exactly what we call her. It must be so interesting. This is not, like you said, you've got albums in the past that you stand in your light as an artist. But when you've also been part of collectives and you've been part of teams for so long, it must be a different experience when suddenly you have to come to the fore and take up, they say stand on business these days is what the young ones say.
Yeah, it is. I also find it a little bit challenging to also, speak from that, authority of, listen to me, I'm now your leader. Because they'd be like, but we were playing together last week. Come on, no steps. So it's you have to be intentional, and you have to remember where you are so that you are able to execute and bring out the best in you. I mean, when I'm music directing now, that means I am beyond just being a bass player, because I try to come out of that and not play bass. But the production will be like, no, we also want you as a bass player, so it's beautiful, but also it teaches me to work with people. It teaches me how to just experience creativity in a different way, because when you are just a session musician, you get told what to do. You come in and the artist is like, well, this is what I want. And you have to remember that, you're not a music director here. You're not the solo artist here. You're not the artist. You are not this and that. Listen, if they say they want it like that, you just play it like that. And it's enough. So it teaches you balance, and also to know that it's okay to be led. It's okay to lead.
Yes. But I can imagine, I mean, if anybody is wanting to work in a session even with you or go on tour with you, there's certain musicians and collaborators that are exactly that. They are collaborators. You bring them because of their experience and their expertise and their ability to say, well, maybe if we try this, it would add this. And I think you're one of those.
I'm one of those. I work with Vota Killerman. And when we do our shows overseas, I have to bring in a little bit of Aus Tebza into that. So I always appreciate that opportunity for me to showcase that Aus Tebza, because it also leaves an identity of who I am, even to the people that we are showcasing to. So, but more than anything, it's having the skill, to allow people to lead you. Because it's not easy when you're a leader and somebody has to come in and lead you. People, oh my goodness, I could do it this way, but you have to hold it and be like, it's not your space. You are here to support. But it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I think I'm in a position where I can say I understand the industry from different angles, because I've been wearing those caps for quite some time now. But I'm enjoying this sort of writing, of letting people who I am, and really relaying the music, through this art of singing and playing bass. And not only that, I think also just the type of music that I'm doing. I'm trying to say, guys, we need representation. I mean, I sing in Setswana. It's very important that comes about according to me. And also just upholding the standards of what a live instrumentalist, can bring into life. Yes, it's nice to listen to DJs, and then I love that. But you cannot take away from the authenticity of somebody playing live instrument.
Absolutely. And writing from, I mean, as we were talking about, Mangwana and sort of the experience of losing your mom around that, writing from a place of vulnerability,
it hits differently. even performing it. I wanted to perform this song for the first time in December at a jazz festival. I couldn't. Because I realized that I have to be more than ready. It has to come from a place of understanding that I have to heal first if I want these people to understand why I'm singing this song. And I kept on, during rehearsal, kept on taking moments to, breathe and cry. And I was like, I'm not ready. I want to sing it and allow people to experience it the way I'm experiencing it inside of me. So when you are intentional about what you write, what you offer out there, it comes with healing. It comes with it solidifies who you are also as an artist, I believe, because now you are true to your craft.
Yeah.
And you also want people to connect with you based on that.
Yeah. I never thought about that perspective, because I always think about, what a privilege it is and what a gift it is for especially singer-songwriters to have the ability to tap into the emotions, almost a dear diary for all of us to connect with. But I never thought about the journey for you, the sort of the catharsis of you've got to get to the point where you have healed. That artistry has healed you. And then you are able to be in it in performance and that becomes the medicine for the people. Yes, yeah.
Because I'm still taking that medicine, but very, very soon. I mean, now it's out, so I will be performing it from now on.
We are definitely going to hold you to that. Okay, as we wrap it up, you've teased us. We know the single is out. The full-fledged project, should I not be putting pressure on you?
Please do not put pressure on me, because I am still working on the music.
Okay.
But definitely before end of the year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't take too long.
No, I won't take too long.
No, don't take too long.
I won't. Definitely not.
Austebza, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you for having me.
That was Austebza, and of course that wraps up our Friday afternoon here. Beautiful conversations that are always fun with fabulous friends on a Friday. We will see you on Monday. You must have yourself a great weekend. Hopefully the weather is going to be phenomenal countrywide. Aldrin St. Pierre is standing by to bring you Beyond the Headline between 3 and 6 o'clock. Looking forward to that bonding session. I am all kinds of a supportive friend, if that is the answer to that question. Inshallah, God willing, we get to do it again.
Mangwane mpele khale ngwana yo ke ya lema ke le nosi Mangwane mpele khale ngwana yo ke ya lema ke le nosi Mangwane mpele khale ngwana yo ke ya lema ke le nosi